Hi guys, Dave and Tex here, and what you're looking at this morning are a couple of pickups out of the Fakeroonie is339. And as you heard them before, they are what they call unpotted pups. And unpotted pups, after time, become microphonic, and they start making weird noises when you turn on your amps, put the gain up high. And yeah, obviously the way to tell if they're going to become microphonic is just tap on them. If they're, click, 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 and it's real, loud, like you're banging on the amp itself, well, it means they're unpotted and they will become microphonic, okay, over time at least, no matter how tight you wrap these things, okay? Now, what's underneath that, let me show you this. That's a 1 pound block of beeswax, okay? Now, it only takes 20% of the beeswax to be mixed in with the regular paraffin to do this thing right, okay? Now, lately people have been saying, oh, let's go with 100% paraffin, which I did on my last pups that I potted. And sad to say that that does become brittle and it does chip off, and there are some flakings going on inside that those sets of pups I potted. And the reason I know, because they're sitting in my storage bin. I didn't use them after all. I didn't do a good job potting them, and like I said, just sitting in that storage bin with the heat going up and down, they flaked. So the whole reason behind adding beeswax to the mixture at 20% is to give that elasticity of the wax, have it increased so that it can, move with the weather, obviously. So when it gets hot and it wants to expand, that beeswax in there can expand, and the paraffin can't. So it just cracks and it flakes. That's the whole reason behind having beeswax mixed in with the regular paraffin. Okay, the elasticity, right? At least that's what I've been told over the years. So let's take a closest look as we can at those pups that came out of that guitar. Looky there, guys. It says rear Epiphone. Yeah. And as I said before, originally this kind of fooled me because I thought, why go to the trouble of faking a Epiphone pickup? Right? When nobody even opens these things 99% of the time. Well, someone in China reminded me that a lot of times these things get scrapped because they're not done right, right? The engraving's bad, or the part itself is bad. They'll toss them in the trash. The QC people don't want them, so they actually get sold to these fake companies, and they reuse them, right? So they get up with an Epiphone rear cover, because on the other one, there's nothing. There's just a front. There's an F circled on it and nothing else on that, right? And these are obviously not potted, okay? So what I'm going to do, with the aid of that beeswax that's underneath them, I'm going to do a mixture of 80% paraffin, 20% beeswax, put that into a double boiler, which I'll show you, right? I've done this before, but I'll show you again one more time. How to pot these pups once they're sealed inside their covers, right? There is a way to do it, and it's not hard to do. Just got to know the tricks involved. So I'll cut away and show you the preparation that goes into potting these pickups in their covers, right? So hang in there. Okay, guys, now take a look at this. I've screwed down the tops of these adjustment poles to allow that wax inside the case a little easier, help get the flow of that wax to and from it. And the main thing, of course, is to get the air bubbles coming through here, right? And you can use that wire to kind of coax those air bubbles out by moving it around a bit when it's in the double boiler. And you don't really want that wire down there too deep into that, into that wax. So you kind of put a little clip on that to hold it out of the pan and away from the heat, right? So with these in place like this, this should work, readily, right? And okay, guys, what you're looking at is my double boiler setup, right? Okay, if I can zoom in that. you're looking at a metal thermometer or a solid thermometer, right? Sorry, solid temperature, and it's too high. Okay, so the optimum thing is 140, around that range, just before it starts to go solid up again. So I'll let it drop down a bit. Normally that just, room cool back down to like 150, because it melts at 147, beeswax does. And over 160 you may have a problem with those copper wirings, depending on how thin they went, and you can guarantee they went thin. So I'm going to let the temperature drop down naturally a little bit and come back in and drop these pups inside. Okay, so hang in there. And this is the color it turns when you're doing, it's kind of yellowish, looking stuff. And they've been in there about 2-3 minutes, and what I'll do is take the lead wire, right, give it some shakes to get all those extra bubbles out of that. See those bubbles forming? Little bitty ones around the poles, as expected. Alright, you actually can take these things out. Alright, let some of the excess drip off, put them back in so you can shake any of your bubbles out. Right? So I'll take it completely out of the pan. Alright, pour some of the excess off, then put it back in again and shake it around a bit. Those bubbles off there. See those little few bubbles coming out still? That means airspace inside the pickup. You don't want that. Give it a little shake. Okay? And after a few minutes, right, you don't see more air bubbles coming out. You can't force any more out of it. Like that. See all those bubbles come out? Gee, see that? You hear it. Hear it? See that bubble fly? Alright. Yep. Still bubbling. Gotta displace that air. There's another one. See that? You want to get in there inside that pickup as best you can. But you don't want to sit there and just boil the heck out of these things. So, you're completely immersed. Leave there for a couple more minutes only. Then I'll take them out and put them on a drying towel or paper towel and wipe off the excess wax, before it dries. Okay guys, now, when taking these pickups out of the boiling pan, some is going to pour out, obviously, out of those holes. So what you do to replace that pour out, right, is simply take a little teaspoon, right, and just pour on the excess to fill that hole back up until there's no more bubbles again. You follow me? And there's going to be displacement as well as, as these cool, right, that wax will get in there and seal up everything around those, those windings, and it will displace any air in there as well. So what you should see when you look down that hole is wax, that nice yellowish wax. But yeah, always a chance of too much of it pouring back out again when you pick these things up. It doesn't hurt to just pour some more on it for, fill it up. So now we're going to wait about 20-30 minutes for this all to dry. As it's drying, we're going to wipe off the extra wax off of them, put them on some cleaner towels. But before we move them again, we're going to get a chance for that wax inside to settle and start its drying process, right? And then give them 24 hours to completely set up, then put them back on the guitar. So now you've seen them potted. Next thing you'll see is either a cleanup or actually putting them back on the guitar. So, have any questions about this or anything else about these fake guitars or these potted pups? Give me a holler. Dave in Texas. Bye. And guys, real quickly on the guitar itself, if you'll take a look, those are two 1/8 inch caps of maple that are on this guitar to form its top, okay? Not a single, but a double, right? 2 1/8 inch thick of maple. Okay, and of course you're looking at the pots that come with it. These are the bigger ones with the better wiring, right? But there's polish all over these things. Look at this, right? It's got the decent 3-way with it as well. Okay, not bad. And like I said, the wiring's better than usual. And there's the brown ground wire as well. So it's the thinnest of them all, the ground wire. So that probably takes place somewhere else where the wood's set up, right? The wiring takes place somewhere else. Different thickness of wire tells you it's different spots. And unfortunately, these pots are all over the place, as far as value is concerned. One's 310, one's 502, and that's the range of them. So these have to be replaced. And it's going to be an extremely tight fit because they barely got out of this sound hole, right? And get this, look at this. The pickups themselves, you see those 2 holes there? Those tiny holes in the side of the wood? That's where the pickup wire goes through. Not that big open hole anymore. They've stopped that gap. And of course that makes it better, right? You have a big gap there to slide the pots through, which makes it hard to do. But it makes the tone much better when you don't have that big hole there. You don't end up with a cavity into the cutaway, I'm sorry, the semi-hollow, right? It's actually a specific setup sound hole with those cutaways in there, those F cutaways. So it does make a big difference. And it went to a lot of effort to do that. So I really appreciate that they actually drilled through for those pickups rather than just leave a big cutout hole to just slop them through, right? So that's something interesting to look at and a new way of doing these things. And any questions about this or any other guitars, give me a holler. Dave in Texas. Bye.